William, thank you so much for taking some time for me today. I'm very pumped to get to visit with you about your new film Shrapnel. Like I said, I just finished watching the screening of it, and man, this film has got a little bit of everything. It's exactly what action-packed fans want to see in the theaters right now. Lots of firefights, a very, very intense villain, and a heroic family man. I mean, you kind of check marked all the things on the list right there. I wanted to ask you just right out the gate here to talk me through and walk our viewers through the process of you connecting once again with Chad Law to bring this film to reality. So is this something that he approached you about, or you him, or kind of how did you guys come together for this, for him to once again be the writer for a film that you directed?
Well, Chad is far more than a writer. He is a producer extraordinaire. So um, this is a script Chad actually wrote about 10 years ago, maybe even longer. And I had heard about this project, and I knew he ended up. I mean, he and his co-writer Johnny Martin Walters put this thing together, and I'd gotten to look at it and really dug it. At the same time, I think it ended up getting sold, and it went another direction. So, and then fast forward to pre-COVID, like just before COVID,
Right.
um, I got a call from him saying, I think the producers, Elias at Premier Entertainment, was going to reach out to me, and he reached out to me and offered me the job. So that was definitely by way of Chad, and you know, we ended up going and getting to make another movie film together.
No, that's awesome. And you guys have, such a fantastic, partnership, if you will. What kind of draws you to, draws the two of you together, I guess.
I think the two of us met at the beginning of our careers. He had just done Hero Wanted. I had done my second film, Sinners and Saints, and we met. I mean, this is like the tail end of MySpace, so way back when. And we met together, and I mean, it's not it's far more than a business relationship. I mean, we're friends. We talk every day as buddies. And we were just saying the other day how glad we are that we have each other to lean on, because it's a tough business and neither one of us like to do it on our own. And so when we get to collaborate, that's really great, man. It's as good as it gets.
No, that's awesome. That's super exciting. And to have those collaborations with your friends in a business like this where, it's typically seemed more cutthroat than anything else. Like, everybody's just
Oh, it
kind of,
still is. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It, but I found, sort of a piece when working with my friends, getting the opportunity to create and, be kind of the media side of things and getting to provide that voice to them. That's always awesome to have that relationship. So that's awesome that you guys have that throughout all these features you guys have done. Uh,
Thank you.
I wanted to talk to you as well as about, just the super amazing gunfights you have in this movie. And there's one in particular, and I don't want to, spoil too much, but over in the Beckwith Ranch, you guys have a really intense scene that just takes place inside the house and outside, and it's just going all around this really awesome ranch property. And the entire time I'm watching this, I'm just thinking to myself, man, this must have been so many days of prep and getting things ready and make, because I'm sure you guys had a very strict shooting schedule on when you could make this happen. So could you just walk us through that process of making this kind of larger than life firefight come to life?
I think that the my DP and I had gotten to get together, and we actually stayed out at the ranch. And so it was an empty property at the time, so we had stayed out there, and were for several days so that we could kind of go through and shot list and kind of change. As you know, a script is a jumping off point, right? So as far as the action's concerned, because you don't have a physical location, so we got to spend that time in the production, um, prepping and going through how to take the script and turn it into the action of this assault on the ranch. And so, and that along with my second unit director, Dino DeSantos, who's a fantastic. I mean, he's amazing, and he's got the most killer team that came in and went above and beyond. So, I mean, much of the car chase, as much as I would love to steal credit for it, that's Dino. So, I got to spend time with the actors, dragging them around in a truck on a trailer. But the nuts and bolts of that action sequence of the car sequence is Dino. But it was super challenging because this was a more challenged budget. So at the same time, we're trying to make it as big as we can and really push the envelope there. And I think it worked. I think we got it to work. Yeah.
No, I couldn't agree more. It was really awesome. Like the entire time, I'm just like waiting for the next sequence because I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to see what you got Jason ready to do next. Because like I went into this film only seeing him in a couple past projects, but getting to see him work now and getting to see him in Shrapnel just makes me want to do a deep dive into his career. So have you I guess, had you guys ever gotten to do anything in the past, or were you guys acquainted before he got cast in this film with Jason Patrick?
No, I mean that's another reason that I came on to the project. I had not, and I'm a huge fan of Jason's, and he's an absolute stud as an actor. And so working with him was just so we became like legit friends out of it, which isn't always the way it works on a feature. And I think the world of him, and we got to, and it was that's what was so exciting was I was getting to go work on this Jason Patrick film, right? And if anyone hasn't seen movies like Rush or Narc, I mean, you have to go see this film. He's an absolutely amazing actor. We pushed him a little bit, but he's got so much more in the tank. So
Well, just the awesome, camaraderie that you see on screen between Jason and Cam. Like
yeah,
it's those two really had been doing this forever, and they really had that partnership vibe going on throughout the film. I got your back, whatever you need, and to actually see that talked about at the beginning of the film, but then actually see it played out later on was actually so surreal because so many times you don't really see that chemistry line up like you hope it will. So
right.
what was it like for you to see those two guys come together and really start kicking down the doors and, taking care of business together?
It's funny you say that because both Cam and who I just love, he's a director's dream. Um, these guys couldn't be more opposite, you know. Um, Jason is a very serious, much more private guy, which I have mad respect for that. Cam at the same time, he's also the guy who's off by himself, but he's a much more playful, um, and much. I mean, he's laughing or making us all laugh all the time. He's a lot of fun to be around, and but they're just different. They have different approaches, and so their chemistry coming in is kind of like the Voden and the Beckwith thing. Is that um, Voden is this basically rock star psychopath killer who loves his friend, right? And will do anything for his friend. And and the opposite of that is this patriotic father who will do anything to protect his family. But at the same time, even as different as they do, as in real life, they both respected each other and really enjoyed working together. So it was fun.
Yeah, and speaking of Jason's character just being the family man that he is in this movie, I wanted to talk about Jason and Kesia. Am I saying her name right? Kesia,
Cassia,
Kessia,
Cassia.
Kessia. Okay, their chemistry as well was just fantastic, and I just have to give a shout out to you, as well as Chad and the writing team and everything for making her a part of the action because so many times these days you just kind of see, okay, I'm going to go take care of this. You go stay hidden away or whatever. So, but the fact that you guys actually made her a part of the action, gave her a gun, let her get in there, that made me really happy. Like I was super pumped to see that. So
Yeah.
what was it like getting to put a gun in her hands and let her get in there on the action as well?
Well, I think her and Emily, the actress that played the daughter, um, would have just loved more guns. They they would have preferred to do more. But I did like the fact that although they at one point they are kind of hidden, when they have to stand and fight, there's no more room to hide. They did it really convincingly, and they are not battle hardened Marines like like Jason's character, and so they did it in a really convincing way where they weren't simple crying damsels in distress, you know. So, and I dug that.
No, same here, same here. And I loved that energy that you brought for that film and brought for those characters. And I always like to ask this as well. You know, whenever you're reading a script and you see these characters lay out on a page, and then you get to the chance to bring them to life with these actors, is what was kind of initially in your head as you were reading the script and putting it together in your, you know, your mental storyboard, if you will, for these characters. Is it kind of what you saw come to life on set, or was it kind of an evolution once the characters got on set, and or the actors got on set, and you were able to like, oh, okay, now that I know who's playing this role, let's have some fun. Let's use the modeling clay here a little bit. So what was that process like?
Yeah, I think the secret to directing is to casting well. And I think for me, that we got this great cast, and we spend that time. It's kind of like, did I imagine this or that? It's kind of once you find out who you've gotten, like Jason I knew from the start. When I found out that Cam was going to come on and play Voden, I mean, I was just grinning ear to ear. I would say so much of it is not an evolution once they land on set, but it's spending that time with the actor prior to production. Lots of phone calls, lots of deep dives in the script, and pushing back on things and thinking where they want to go. And then as long as that lines up and makes things stronger, which it usually does with great actors, then we go down that road for
Yeah.
sure.
Now, as you were making this film, who's kind of the audience that you have in mind that you really hope gets out there to the theaters, or whether it's not going to be playing locally and they're going to be able to get it on digital or on demand? Who are you hoping tunes in and catches this flick?
I would say anyone who watches that trailer and goes, "That looks badass." I mean, that's my target audience. You know, I have Chad and I have a good source group of people that really like our work. So if you're looking for what we do, it's there. If you're unfamiliar with us, the trailer's a great place to start. If you are down for dark, gritty action character stuff, this is your film. So I think I think that's it's again going, if you can watch that trailer and go, that looks like something I want to see, the movie will live up to that. So I believe so.
Awesome, awesome. Well, man, I know my time with you here is running short, but I definitely wanted to give you a chance. If you got any upcoming projects, anything you can leave us with the tease with, or anything coming up that you can go a little bit deeper on and let audiences know what you got in store for us.
Well, I can't talk too much about it, but I have something really cool coming up. Once again, I'm working with Max Martini, and that's something that we'll be announcing and sharing in the coming weeks. But it's the biggest thing I've been a part of, so I'm super excited.
That's awesome. We'll definitely be on the lookout for that. And of course, in the back of my mind, I just always am thinking, when's Will going to get to work with Cuba Gooding Jr. again? So is that a potential thing in the future as well?
I don't know, anything's possible. I mean, Cuba's doing his thing. I'm kind of doing my thing. So if the stars realign, you know, Chad Law and Will Kaufman will have another Cuba, trio. But I don't. There's no telling. It's not something we're actively chasing for sure.
Well, fingers crossed it happens in the future, because I think that's a trio fans would love to see get back together again. Will, is there's anybody that wants to keep up with what you're up to, people want to follow you online, what's the best way for them to keep up with the projects you're actively working on?
I think the best way is probably William Kaufman on Instagram. William Kaufman Director, I think, on Instagram, and same on Facebook. So we'll, but everything's pushing more towards IG.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you again so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure getting to visit to you with you about this film. I thoroughly enjoyed getting to watch it, and I can't wait for audiences to get their chance to dig into it as well.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's been my pleasure, man. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, and thanks for being here.
Yes, and go see Shrapnel out this Friday.
You heard it here, guys. William Kaufman, everybody, thank you so much for your time, sir. It's been appreciated, and I hope we get to visit with each other down the road.
Yes, sir. You take care.
Awesome. Thank you.